Does your mom treat you like you're still a child or a teenager? Is she overly involved in your life and in your decision making? Does she give you unsolicited advice, even after you've asked her to stop? Does she doubt your ideas, your decisions, or even dismiss your feelings? Does your mom call or visit you and expect you to make time for it, even when it's something you really don't want to do, or it was unplanned? If any of this sounds like your situation and you're feeling exhausted, anxious, depressed, resentful, avoidant, you really just don't want to have to deal with it, but it is your situation, then you are in the right place with this video. You'll learn what codependency is, how to tell that your mom is codependent, and what effects that has on you and your life. You'll also learn some simple next steps that you can take to start feeling better and more in control of your life today. Hi, my name is Lori Desjardins. I'm a mother wound coach, and it's such an honor to have you sit here with me right now and educate yourself on how to make your life better. I help women like you heal the mother wound, fix the core beliefs that are keeping them stuck, and move on to live guilt-free lives. In my last video, I talked about what codependent mother-daughter relationships really look like, so I recommend that you watch that. Codependency is a relationship dynamic where one person gives what they think the other person wants and needs at the expense of what they themselves want and need. Codependency is often driven by subconscious beliefs that need to be updated. It's also a way for both you and your mom to try to get your unmet childhood needs finally met now. In my codependent relationship with my mom, I used to feel dependent on her for my unmet childhood needs, and in turn, she felt dependent on me for her unmet childhood needs. Those childhood needs for validation and a sense of safety, a sense that we were okay as we were. We were lovable, we were worthy, we were good people. That's a lot as an adult to expect another person to give to you. It is no one else's job. The things that people can do for you as an adult, they're just bonuses to a foundation that is only yours to create. Now, of course, it would be so much simpler and breezier if we already had this foundation, if it was something that was instilled in us from a young age. And that's part of the process of healing the mother wound, is grieving the loss, grieving the time we can't get back, grieving the thoughts around, well, what would my life have looked like if I was taught these things earlier? In my situation, I experienced both being infantilized, where I was treated like a child when I was no longer a child, and parentified, where I was treated like I was my mom's parent when I was not. Today's video, we're going to focus on if you are in the situation where you're being infantilized, you're being treated like you really can't be trusted to go on and live life on your terms. Your mom knows best. She needs to have that sense of control over what you're doing. She has to be overly involved and interfere with your decisions. An example of this codependent over-functioning from my mom was when I moved across the country. I was born in Toronto, Canada, and raised in a suburb in that area. In my late 20s, I got together with someone. We moved across the country to British Columbia. That's a 5-hour flight for reference if you're not Canadian. And my mom was very adamant that I move back to where she was living. This was an issue of great tension in our relationship for many years. I felt so much pressure to move back that I actually did for a little bit. It wasn't until I really got deep down and serious with myself and admitted, I don't want to move back there. That's when things started to change for me, because I could really stand up for myself and say in conversation with certainty, because it came from within me, Mom, I'm not moving back. How can you tell that your mom is codependent with you? She might rush in to try to solve your problems. She might believe you have a problem to solve when you haven't complained about it. Anything from what you're eating, to where you're living, to who you're spending your time with. Your mom is looking for a sense of control over your outcomes, which she no longer has now that you're an adult. If you're in a situation where you're still living with your mom and she is paying a lot of the expenses or all of the expenses, this changes the conversation. There are things that in that situation, your mom has a right to talk to you about. There are still things that your mom does not have a right to interfere with. Another sign that your mom is codependent with you is she's overly involved in your life. She knows a lot about you. You're almost like best friends. She asks a lot of personal questions or makes a lot of assumptions. There doesn't seem to be a clear distinction between where you end and she begins. This is where something like boundaries can be so powerful and such a game changer in both your own autonomy, your own confidence, your own self-worth, and just your day-to-day relationship with your mom. Whether or not you're ready to set boundaries with your mom today, I highly recommend that you download my free ebook. It's called The Guilt-Free Boundary Guide: How to Say No to Your Mom Without Guilt or Self-Doubt. It's a great resource with different exercises and tips that will help you prepare to set boundaries with your mom. It includes really useful tips on self-regulation and word-for-word scripts that you can use in conversations with your mom. I have a link in the description box below, so make sure to get yourself that free guide today. While your mom may really truly mean well, her interference with you becoming your own person has a big impact on you. She's trying to help you avoid making the same mistakes that she did, or just making mistakes that, from a third party, she can see you might make. The problem really comes in with how this is done and how much you feel like you actually have a voice that can say, no, that's not for me, but thanks, and still have a good relationship with your mom. Your mom may also try to live vicariously through you. You're seen as an extension of her rather than your own person. Something that I experienced with my mom that was very, very painful was this kind of Jekyll and Hyde personality. My mom could be so loving, so thoughtful, so much the person that I wanted to spend time with. And on a dime, she could flip into someone who was critical or instilling doubt in me. A symptom of these kinds of codependent relationships between mothers and daughters is that the more you try to become your own person, the more you try to individuate, the more your mom reacts. You might also experience this Jekyll and Hyde light switch flipping that happens in codependent relationships. As a result, you might walk on eggshells with your mom. You might just keep things to yourself that you would really like to actually share, and you might start to doubt your own ability to make decisions and succeed. Your mom may also be an overgiver. She is always there to look after your kids. She gives money and food even when you haven't asked for it. She's highly protective and overly worried about you. She speaks over you or speaks for you. These are the types of mothers who can turn into the stereotypical monster-in-law, mother-in-law, who is really critical of the person that you marry. They're overly involved. They're the mom that comes over with food, thinking that you can't make it yourself. If you've ever watched the show Everybody Loves Raymond, this character of Raymond's mom, who lives very conveniently right across the street, is a prime example of a codependent, overly involved mom. And while it's not funny in your own life right now, it does bring some comic relief to watch it as a third-party person. There's this pressure for you as the daughter of a codependent mom to stay the same. This is not possible or healthy to even try to make possible. Your mom may not want you to move far away from her. She may not want you to get married, or at least not to that person. She may not want you to have so many kids, or she may want you desperately to have kids so she has grandchildren. The ultimate message with this type of mom, whether it's directly spoken to you or it's just clearly the message, is do what I want you to do. Don't do what I don't want you to do, or I'll make it very uncomfortable for you. Because here is where the strings are attached in all the good deeds that your mom does for you. Your mom might have a sense of entitlement over time with you or over you doing what she wants you to do. She might guilt you, she might shame you, might criticize you, and push these expectations onto you, even if you've already said no. So tell me, in the comments section below, what are the signals that your mom is codependent with you? What are you experiencing right now? Let me know. Growing up with a codependent mom like this can have a big impact on you. You might find it hard to trust yourself. There's probably confusion around what you really want to do. There's a detachment from your true feelings. Your inner voice and the voice implanted in you of your mother are hard to tell apart. This can lead you to feel exhausted, stuck, overwhelmed, hopeless, like you don't really know what you want to do next, or if you do, you wouldn't dare actually follow through on it. You might be just hoping and wishing and fantasizing that someone's going to come in and save you from this pain. If you're anything like me in this kind of dynamic, you're probably constantly draining your energy towards your mom. You're probably anxious about your next interaction with her. Some of it is the unknown of what's going to happen, but most of it is the known. You don't have this fear for no reason. You don't have this constant churning in the back of your brain around what's going to happen next because it's just fun for you. No. What's actually happening is your body is keeping a record of all your experiences with your mom. So it can predict with some degree of certainty that your mom is probably going to say and do X, Y, Z. And of course, you want to avoid that from happening again. You might be scared to share who you really are, what you really think, what you really want, for fear of criticism or disagreement or questioning that then gets denied if you ever try to say something about it. The jabs at you might seem subtle, but they're there. They might get brushed aside with comments like, "Oh, that was just a joke," or "Don't be so sensitive." But deep down, you know exactly what the message was intended to be. Even though keeping your true self hidden feels safe on one level, it's deeply dissatisfying. This is part of why you might be feeling depressed or disconnected from yourself and chronically tense. Another common symptom of being raised by a codependent mother is that you're overly agreeable. You tend to be a people pleaser, putting what you think other people want ahead of what you really need. You might also feel a deep level disconnect from your mom that you really long to mend. You want to close the gap between you and your mom. You want to take off the false mask. You want to say, here I am. Can you accept me? You want to have a mutually respectful and beneficial relationship. You want to be treated like an adult. And it hurts knowing that this is not the relationship you have. From a young age, you've gotten the message that what you think, what you feel, what you want does not really matter. So deep inside, your thoughts, the way that you speak to yourself, will be some iteration of that main message. I don't matter. It might sound like, you know what, I'm really exhausted, but yeah, I'll take her call right now. Or, I'd really love to take that trip with my friend, but you know what, I guess it's not that important. You end up living a life that's more pleasing to your mom than to yourself. And yet, she's never satisfied. You may crave space from your mom, moving far away. Before we get into the root causes of your mom being codependent with you, if you're finding this video useful, helpful to you, please like it and subscribe to the channel so that you'll be notified when more videos like this come out. I want to thank you in advance for doing this. It really helps the channel grow and reach other women who are struggling like you. Let's dive into the root causes of this codependent dynamic. Your mom has core limiting beliefs about herself, about how lovable she is, how worthy she is, how safe she is in the world. For various reasons, your mom grew up with some form or forms of trauma. She might have an unhealed abandonment wound. She might have been abused in some way. She might have been neglected. Her message growing up was, hey, there's something about you that does not deserve to be protected, connected with, or loved. Whether or not that was directly spoken to her, or it's something that she concluded based on her surroundings, that's the internalized message that she had. So she might cling to you to feel like she is safe, she is loved, she has a purpose, she has an identity, and she has someone in her life who's not going anywhere. A lot of codependent women have this need to be needed. This is especially evident in motherhood. Your mom's incessant involvement and interference in your life largely comes from this. She might also be masking her sense of low self-worth in having some kind of authority over you. It can be so easy for a woman to fall into the trap of wrapping up her entire identity and sense of okayness around being a mom. She might have received the cultural, familial, temporal, or religious message that for her to grow up, get married, and have children was the ultimate path to a happy life and a safe life where she'd be accepted by the most important people in it. This was certainly the case for my mom, who grew up in a small Greek village in the 50s and 60s. The trap in this kind of mothering, though, is there's never enough. There's never enough reassurance that she's good, or she's wanted, or she's needed. And that pressure gets diverted onto you. Great mothers not only love, nurture, and protect their children, they prepare them for adulthood. They help them build a sense of trust in themselves to get out there, make mistakes, pick themselves back up, learn from them, and move forward. A mother who is overly protective and overly involved in your life does not prepare you for adulthood. In fact, you moving on and being your own person is deeply threatening to her core sense of purpose in this world. she will do almost anything to keep that position. This puts a lot of pressure on you to stay the same, to be compliant. It's a pressure and a weight that is too much for you to bear, which is why you're experiencing your current symptoms of fatigue and tension, anxiety, depression, and resentment. It is so critical to get support in healing this codependent dynamic. I invite you to book a free 30-minute consultation with me in the link in the description box below. In this call, we'll talk about the problems you're experiencing and whether or not one-on-one and group coaching with me is right for you. You can pick a time that works for you in the calendar in the link below. As someone who has healed my own codependent relationship with my mom, I know what it takes to make it to the other side, and I would love to help you do the same. So book your free call in the link below. There is so much hope for you. This is completely overcomable. While it feels overwhelming and insurmountable right now, even at times in the journey you might think, well, maybe other people can heal, but not me. I want you to know this with 100% certainty. This is not a life sentence. You are not stuck, even though you feel like you're stuck. I went from feeling powerless in my relationship with my mom, from calling her for at least an hour every day once I moved across the country. I went from taking care of her finances, of being her therapist, of being her best friend, of being a replacement for so many different roles in her life, to now living a life that is free of that burden. I don't feel guilty that I have my own life, my own space, and that I'm not in this position anymore. To be honest, I didn't even know if that was really possible for me because I was in it so deeply. But here I am. I get to experience this freedom every day, and it's amazing. So for you to get started on experiencing this kind of life, I have some tips for you. Number 1, do more of what you're doing right now, which is educating yourself, normalizing new ideas and ways of being. It is so powerful, especially with the taboo around talking about your true feelings about your mom. It is so important to normalize new information. So watch more videos like this. Watch this video multiple times. And if you haven't already, like this video and subscribe to the channel. My next major tip for you is to learn how to regulate your nervous system. You can watch some of the videos on my channel already that will walk you through some exercises, and I'll be posting more of that. Learning how to regulate your nervous system when you are in a chronic state of overwhelm, of tension, of anxiety is a game changer. It's one of the best skills you can develop for your overall well-being, and it's going to carry you through the very scary and uncomfortable parts of doing this healing work. When I took a mother wound healing course many years ago, I saw so many women slip through the cracks, not do the exercises, not do this course that they spent so much money on because they were too afraid of what they would feel if they dug in. I was one of those people. It took me a year after I bought my course before I actually really dove into it and finished it. I also recommend that you download my free ebook, The Guilt-Free Boundary Guide. You'll find self-regulation tips in that guide as well. I also really recommend that you get help from a therapist or a coach, especially someone who has been through it or really knows your situation. If you're feeling called to receive guidance from me, you can click on the link below and book a free 30-minute consultation. Whether or not I'm the right person to help guide you through it, please do get support. For me, it was an absolute game changer to be part of a mother wound healing course, to have people around me who I could share my ideas with, and to be part of an online community. My last tip for you today is a simple exercise, something that helps you be honest with yourself about your true feelings, so you can stop running from them, suppressing them, and still feeling the effects of them. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Pull out a piece of paper and a pen and write freely, unedited, about how you feel towards your mom. Start with a simple prompt. I feel, and run with it. Allow yourself to swear, to have bad grammar, to just let it all go. An example of this could be, I feel overwhelmed when I talk to my mom and she criticizes my decisions. And then go with that. Just write. Let whatever thoughts come up be acceptable enough to put onto paper. This is not something you're going to share with anybody else. It's just for you to start normalizing all the feelings that you typically suppress or feel too overwhelmed to even start looking at. Do this regularly and make sure that you do something self-regulating afterwards. Do something nice for yourself to self-soothe or to energize yourself. You want to have a positive association with doing this kind of work. So if you're feeling kind of drained after, maybe go for a walk, make yourself a nice meal, have a bath, exercise or dance. Do something that's just for you so that you can feel better. I hope these tips and the information in this video really helps you. Thank you so much for taking the time to invest in your wellness because you matter. You can absolutely heal from mother-daughter codependency. If I can, you can. Until next time, take good care.